One early spring night, flowers just blooming, the moon shone bright as it hung looming over one ragdoll child as she stooped her head low, tilting it slightly from the weight of her bow. Calamity Skellington was her name, and her father was the one who held so much fame. To that cold Christmas day far back in December, the one that we all can't help but remember. Calamity felt lonely, so saddened and blue, for nobody liked her. She didn't know what to do. She tried to be friendly, loving, and kind, but all in town thought her out of her mind. She hated to scare people, really it's true. She wanted something different, something quite new. So she rose from her spot on the moonlit hill and started her journey with strong and clear will. So into the forest she went as a dove, searching and hoping that she would find love. Deep into the forest she wandered all night, till with a start she came on a sight, a circle of doorways set by a hill. But only one doorway gave her a thrill. Intrigued, she walked towards it and turned the gold knob, and as she looked in, she could feel her heart throb. A new morning wind sweetly blew past her knee, and her foot must have slipped, for she fell into the tree. Delighted by the wondrous view that she saw, Calamity stood entranced in great awe. She walked down the path, enjoying each vision, until she bumped into someone, causing quite a collision. A shrill screaming woman, taken by fright, couldn't believe what appeared just in sight. Shaken, Calamity stood up quite quick and ran from that place feeling inwardly sick. So into the park Calamity hid, pondering what exactly she did. Behind a flowering bush she did sit, and gazed at a couple who were old but quite fit. Longing she watched them tender and dearly, and wished she would find someone she would love so sincerely. Just as she thought this, a flash and a bang disturbed the thin air, and like sweet music sang. Standing there with a scythe in his hand was the Grim Reaper himself, aged but still grand. And then just behind him a smaller young chap stood holding a scythe, his hand in his lap. Then the Grim Reaper turned and said to his son, "Henry, my boy, the work's almost done. You're almost a reaper, why yes, it is true. But there is just one more thing that you must do. I want you to reap that woman's kind soul, so that her loved ones can bury her deep down in a hole." "Father, that sounds so horrid and cruel. But Henry, my son, this is the last final rule. You have to do this or else you will fail. I mean, whoever has heard such a tale of a Grim Reaper child too frightened to kill? I promise my son she's filled out her will." "Father, I won't," Henry shouted. "Hump," said his father, "I had slightly doubted, You'll never succeed to a much higher spot. Then he turned, disappearing right on the dot. Henry felt lonely, so saddened and blue, for his father didn't like him. He didn't know what to do. He tried to be ominous and very well dressed, but his father never seemed to be especially impressed. He hated to kill people, really it's true, but when you're a grim reaper, what else is there to do? So sadly he stared right down just to cope, feeling that he had lost every hope. Seeing this sight, Calamity felt sad and also quite grateful for her mom and dad, and so she went out to comfort the boy, only to find her heart leap with great joy. When with an odd look the boy gazed right at her, she felt her small heart pitter-patter. It was love at first sight, just like the stories of old, and couldn't be sold